Hey, good morning YouTube. I'm the Tech Prepper. In today's video, we're going to go over everyday carry bags. And these are not go bags. These are bags that I take with me when I travel on an airplane, when I go to, even out to dinner. I bring these with me. And mine has everything that I typically wish I would have on my person at the moment in which I did not have it on my person. And my bag has evolved over the last couple of years. In fact, it's evolved over the last couple of weeks given the current climate. So let's start with the outer pouch here. And maybe before we do that, look at the size of the bag. It's actually fairly small. And in fact, this bag does compact down quite a bit. The outer zipper is opened, but the larger one will actually expand to about twice this. So depending on how much stuff I need to put in here, will dictate when I have those extensions open. And these are deeply personal. This is what I put in my bag. So there are some basics that everybody probably should have, but you can absolutely put whatever makes you comfortable. And I emphasize comfortable because when I would travel in the airports and get stranded, a lot of this stuff saved my bacon when I had to sleep at the airport. All right, so I've repurposed an old Seinhauer set of a case for my headphones, and I use it to carry all of my miscellaneous cables. And the first one is my USB charger for my Olight everyday carry flashlight. So this is USB charger. I have a wall wart that will work with any of the USB cables I have in here. A pair of headphones for my iPhone or my laptop. A charging cable for my rechargeable battery. And you notice almost everything here is USB, so it's nice to have that be the standard. My iPhone charging cable. When I do carry my Fitbit, I do have my Fitbit charging cable. And then a small USB thumb drive, and these are fantastic, especially in meetings when someone says, hey, can I send you some files or give you a big piece of software? This does come in extremely handy. Again, I repurposed a bag from, I don't know, I think it was some morale patches I bought somewhere, and I'm using it to store a lot of my battery recharging cables. So there is a USB charger for my larger battery for my flashlights. And then I think I showed this in another video. This is a cool little USB connector that provides both input and output. So I can actually draw power from this battery to charge my iPhone, or I can go the other way and plug this into a USB connector and charge the battery. And then there's a little notepad or a note card in the back that actually has over time all of my charge dates. So I roughly know based on my usage how often it takes me to recharge. For this cell and the way that I use my flashlight, I basically recharge about every 3 weeks. I'm always needing a writing implement, so I have a pen and a mechanical lead pencil. These are just fantastic, so I'm never without a writing implement. I do carry a backup flashlight. This is one of the smaller Streamlight flashlights, but it does standardize on, this is multi-cell, so it'll work with a AAA, a AA, or a CR123. The CR123s are the ones that I pretty much run exclusively in all my lights for basically having a power source that I can share across all my devices or all my flashlights. I always carry a backup set of the CR123 batteries. These are fantastic. I buy the big bricks when I find a good deal. Looks like I have another writing implement. I do a lot of highlighting and scribbling in all my books. So this is I don't know, almost a 20-year-old highlighter that still seems to be working from a company that's no longer in business. Advil, you would have no idea how often I have to refill this bottle. I hand these out like candy when I'm traveling. I use them personally quite a bit, so having that in the outer pouch is quite nice. There's just a key access card to the office, which I'm not going to anymore. I'll do another video on Altoid tins, but I love these things. I use them to make all kinds of kits. This one happens to be just a kit that has random stuff in it. So cough drops, these candies called Gin-Gins, which are great for my stomach, and then just some assorted mints. Here's another Altoid tin with a rubber band around it just to keep it shut. And this is my portable first aid kit. And I'll do a video on this one separately. But I have things like electrolyte powder, more Advil, Band-Aids, moleskin, things like that. And again, you can personalize these as much as you want. This is an old sunglass pouch, and what I actually used it for is to carry a sack of quarters. I've been in situations where I need to park somewhere and it only takes coins. I know that's changing now, but I do break into this every once in a while. In fact, when my wife and I travel in the RV, we have to do laundry on the road, and we, borrow from my stash here every once in a while. I do carry an extra pocket knife. I always have one on my person, but it always helps to have a backup. And when I travel, I have a punch list to remember to remove all my illegal items. Believe it or not, I have actually made it through security accidentally with this. So security optics are security optics. Just smoke and mirrors. I have an extra microfiber cloth to clean off my glasses. And this is a recent introduction to my kit. I think it's been in my kit now for about 4 months, and a colleague of mine recommended carrying around a small crescent wrench. And believe it or not, for the type of things I do, I actually use this quite a bit. We used it for the first time when we borrowed some VHF, UHF antennas off of my boss's building. He said it was okay afterwards. In fact, no, he said it was okay before, but was joking. And we climbed up on the roof and took him up on that offer. So that's it for the outer pouch. I might do a review of this bag later on. What's cool about this one is that, again, I can compact it down. So it has this zipper here. And you can actually see now you have a very slim profile. They call this the flat pack. Okay, and this part of the pack is where I think when I was traveling, I've been getting a lot of eye rolls from my colleagues and clients, but I do absolutely use this stuff and have used it in the past. So whenever I travel, I always carry a small toiletry kit. It has some wipes for my rear, and then I use basically just the small tissue packets. And I would go through these like hotcakes. Every time I went to the supermarket, that section that has the the traveling stuff, I would buy probably about 5 or 6 of these, and every trip I would go through at least 2 of these packets. And it's just one of those things where it's a comfort item. And in fact, this is the same kit, slightly smaller, that I take when I go backpacking. This is my toiletry kit for the most part. The other thing I also travel with, I'm going to put the bag to the side, especially now, is with all of my credentials. So I have my US passport. Especially now, this kit also has things like my birth certificate, social security card, things like that, and an extra credit card. And then I have a moleskin writing pad that's seen a lot of use. I've had this for a few years, and it is just kind of beat up. One thing I like to do in it is also stash away some cash. So in the back, I typically have at least, I don't know what I have here. So it's falling apart, but at least $100 in the back, if not more. I recently added I think another set of 20s in here just in case. So it's in addition to what I carry in my wallet. You'd be surprised how many times I've had to tear into this when an establishment is cash only. All right, I'm making a mess here in front of me. Oh, and waterproofed again. These bags, I reuse the heck out of them, and if it rains, you'll be lucky that you've made that choice. This is a backup phone. It's an old phone, and even though there's no service on it, I can tether it to Wi-Fi and use it. And again, it has its separate charger, and it's waterproofed. I've never had to use it, but I think it's one of those things where if I ever crack my phone and break it, this may be a lifesaver. Oh, now this bag has seen a lot of use. This is my kind of snack food bag, and especially when I travel, I gotta tell you, I'm constantly replenishing this. Right now, it looks like I have 2 packets of beef jerky, some cookies that I kept from the last flight I was on, Propel electric light packet. I can't seem to keep these in stock fast enough. Whenever we go hiking with people and someone is dehydrated and has exhausted their electrolytes, I'm constantly going back to this. I also have a couple of energy pack or emergency packets, and then a Cliff Bar in the back. So put whatever snacks you eat, but I'm constantly going through this. This is a recent introduction to this kit, and it's just, if I leave the house, which I have not yet in 10 days, it's a couple of latex gloves and then a couple packets of sanitizing wipes. So for people who know me, I actually have been traveling with little bottles of Purell and hand wipes for as long as I've been traveling. I've been doing this now for about 10, 15 years. And everybody in New York last year in October thought it was hilarious that I would wipe down my surface in the conference room. Sorry, guys. And carry around hand sanitizer. So we did not actually even have to go out and panic buy sanitizer. We bought a big bottle about 3 weeks before everything happened because I knew it was coming. And then what we do is we refill these little bottles. So this is an emergency blanket. I typically have it when I'm backpacking, but I have used, not this one because they're one-time use for the most part, many times when I've been stuck overnight at the airport when I've had a flight be canceled. And as crunchy as it is, and as fun as it looks like from other people while I'm laying across 4 seats at the airport, I have been super toasty in Dallas, New York, and O'Hare with my emergency blanket, and it weighs next to nothing. So this is just my random toiletry kit, and I'm constantly going through this when I travel. The amount of time I spend in airports, I'm brushing my teeth there. I've got some floss, some eyeglass cleaner. I have some eye and ear drops, chapstick, suntan lotion, or sunscreen rather, and then Neosporin because it doesn't fit in my little med kit. Oh, and I think this came up in the video yesterday, but if for whatever reason I need to waterproof the entire bag, I keep a small, tall kitchen bag. And you can even use these to make an improvised poncho. I'll do a video on that later. Okay, so that's it for the kind of this mid pouch here. Let's look at the outer largest pouch. Oh, sorry about the coughing. I don't know what's going on this morning. A little tickle in my throat. Now this is a recent introduction to my kit. This is a N99 mask. I saw this coming, and in, I don't know, mid-January, I went ahead and purchased 2, one for myself and one for my wife. And this is a reusable N99 mask, so it's better than the N95 masks that are kind of out of stock now and people have are in need of. And then I do have the replaceable filters, so I can reuse this as many times as I need to. I will probably not open the filters until I actually need it. I think it's 40 hours use or 30 days of the package being open. And then I have a small disposable razor. And the reason for this is I do have a beard. And if I ever really need to make sure, there's something airborne that I don't want to come into my system, I need to shave my face because I need to make sure that I have a really good seal with my mask on. All right, we're almost done. This last item, I would say more than anything that's in this kit, I would probably take just this pouch if I had to. And I am constantly breaking into this one. This is basically everything I need to stay warm. And again, sleeping at the airports, I leave California and I'm in, not shorts, but I'm wearing a t-shirt, for example, and this has saved my bacon. So I have a head and neck gaiter. This is fantastic for a lot of different reasons. Put it around my neck to protect against the sun. Put it on my head also to protect against the sun. I can even use this as an improvised mask to prevent myself from coughing on other people. I do have a small cap. I use this quite a bit as well. And then I do have my rain jacket. It is fully rolled up. And again, whenever I sleep at the airports, it's happened to me a half dozen times last year. This thing is a lifesaver, and it compacts to, pretty good size. And then I'm a big fan of base layers or underlayers. This one actually is fairly inexpensive. My wife found 2 for $10 at Costco. And we use these around the house. We use this on our trips. And it is, they're called Heat 32 Degrees. I don't know if Costco still has them. But for $10 for 2, you can't beat that price. And then I always carry with me gloves. These are actually my tactical gloves, but they do help with the warmth. So if I have to grab anything that may have sharp edges or just want to keep my hands protected from the elements, a pair of gloves is really nice. And an extra pair of underwear. Like I said, I have slept at the airport many times, so for me, being able to change your underwear after 24 hours of travel is quite nice. So this may have been a longer video than I wanted to, but I just wanted to show the point that a bag this size can basically give you everything you need for about 24 hours. A lot of the items here are comfort items, but they make me feel secure and I enjoy it. Actually, before we sign off, I do have a couple of carabiners and off the bag. And the other thing that I always carry that's attached to this bag is a 20-ounce bottle of water. I just like to stay hydrated. It gives me a place to mix my electrolyte fluids. When I travel at the airport, I don't have to spend $4 for a bottle of water. Basically just run this through security empty. And then everywhere in the airports these days, they do have potable water available. And it's just a great way to always have a water source with you. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm the Tech Prepper. Be strong, be safe, and think about building an EDC bag. Thanks, guys.